All right, darling. Hello, how are you? Behind these books. So, I'm gonna record your readings in separate videos, but I decided to do this separate video for you in regards to books that I've read. I've read your entire email regarding your concern about people like during virtue and people that are money hungry and these, new age philosophies or quote unquote new age philosophies. I just want to tell you that big hugs to you, and that I admire you and people like you and people like me that want to stand up for themselves and actually research for themselves or learn about themselves and take their power back. So I took out books ask suggestions. These are books that I've either read, I haven't read. Some of them, I'm not gonna lie to you, I haven't read some of them totally and completely, but I do skim through them when I have questions, I have doubts, and they have helped me a lot. Besides reading these books, I feel like the best tips that I can give you, not just as a witch, but as someone just a human, from one human to another whom wants to explore herself or continues to explore herself, is that when you are reading things or when you are trying to research things, you have to use your discernment. And the more you read about different things, there's going to be certain things that are not going to make sense to you. And the best way to infuse your intuition or connect yourself with God or infuse your intuition with the divine energies of the universe is to tap into your energies. I'm sure that you have great gifts and are amazing and you can manifest a lot of things for your life, but I feel like a lot of people are not really like, we go to these seminars, we go to these places. I was scammed as well by like 2 people before, and the people that were actually doing it, not because they didn't, they were after themselves. Not because they didn't care about me. They didn't, try to teach me because they didn't care or because they didn't want to progress, but they want to progress in their own individual agenda. And I feel like as people progress in the spiritual community, we have to be one, or look at things as one. Look at things for yourself. Learn about yourself. When learning about spirituality, you don't only learn about the self as of right now or who you are. Like, my name is Madeline, so I'm not looking at the world as Madeline only looks at the world. You have to kind of like expand your horizons so that you can understand the bigger picture, is what helps me. It also helped me to learn about myself and to accept myself as an Afro-Latina and also as someone who is Black. And I didn't realize that until I went to college, or I didn't realize that I was not that I didn't know that I was Black, but I didn't realize the responsibility of being a melanated being actually took, and that people of my ethnicity didn't know themselves, didn't know where they came from. And I feel like the more you are connected with the universe, the more you will want to be eager to know where you came from. That also helped me because it helped me open the horizons and broaden the horizons to spirituality, and not just think about the Catholic Church or be afraid to learn about myself. So, talking about spirituality first, I'm gonna go into these books. Let me put these to the side here. I separated them into columns, right? So, of course, you know that there is the Bible. Let me move my camera. And of course, there is the Bible. So the Bible is always good to read. But the Bible, a lot of people take it or interpret it as it is and take it for what it is. And then they don't research the places. It's going to take a lot. It's a lot of work. It's hefty stuff. But if you don't research the places, if you don't research alchemy, if you don't research what certain things mean, like what the Bible means, what the serpent gods are, then these things will never know. You know, you won't, if you study the Bible exactly how it's written, and it's the only book that you have as a focus, which I think people like During Virtue and Joel Osteen and all these people want people to focus on that one book, as opposed to teaching them there are many doors to God. So reading the Bible is good. I learned in the Catholic Church that reading the Bible and just opening it to a passage is good. And this way it connects you to that sort of spirituality, and you know how to deal with it, or that type of consciousness, or that type of frequency. I've also skimmed through the Satanic Bible, because if you are going to be in spirituality, or if you're going to broaden your horizons, and when it comes to mediumship and learning a little bit more about yourself, it's good to know. And if you hear noise in the background, it's raining. It's near the window. So if you learn the universal laws, you will know that polarity exists. So when you find scam artists like During Virtue that only go through one path, or only look at one fluffy view of the actuality of reality, that means you're denying your shadow. So that's also important, is to look at polarity and look at the universal laws. So the Satanic Bible is good because it gives you a different perspective of how people perceive Satan, or what Satanism actually is. The Holy Pippi book, like I said, I haven't read all of these books, but I've skimmed through these books. I've read certain books that reference these books, which is why I have these books. The Holy Pippi book is a book about, well, it's like a Bible, and it's a Bible in regards to the, well, I don't want to say it's a Bible, but it's a book in regards to the Rastafarian beliefs. In my country, in the Dominican Republic, there's a Rastafarian community, and they're very rich. A lot of people don't really communicate with them. They live in their own community. They do their own thing. But it's good to know the type of people that live in your land. And if there's traces to them and there's books that can connect you to them, it's wonderful to have them in your collection. Then I have the Holy Quran, which a lot of people bash and talk a lot of stuff about, but it basically says the same thing in its entirety than, you know, what the Bible says. It's just that the Holy Quran has certain sections of what like women should do, what men should do, and the stories go on and on and on. But they even have a section for Maryam, or Mary, as some people should call it, or call her. But they have like a whole section. I actually just flipped it open and opened it up, but they have a whole section. It has the translations. I don't know if you can read this, but it gives you more information. I feel the Quran gives you more information of the characters in the Bible. There's certain characters that you just know about them because there's certain sections of the Bible that talk about them. But in the Holy Quran, it talks about not just the story, but it talks about the characters, and it gives them like certain breakdowns and rules and regulations as to how women should act, how men should act, and how children should act. But it brightens your perspective into understanding that there's certain people that are looked down at for no reason whatsoever, because they're basically saying the same thing you're saying. And there's a lot of alchemy in this book, a lot of alchemy in this book. Anyway, a lot of the alchemy in this book. Then you have the Essential Enochian Grimoire, or you have the Enochian magic or angel magic. A lot of people think this is a hoax. I don't think so. Because there are sigils in here and maps, and the Enochian text or Enochian information is good to know, because a lot of people see angels or the angelic realm as something fluffy, and they're so fluffy, they're so this, they're so that. Oh my God, they're amazing. But nobody explores the angels further than what they're being sold by the mass media, when the angels have also explore polarity. Give me just a minute. Okay, it's a lot of noise in the background. I hope you can't hear it, but I can. So yeah, a lot of people just explore the angels as just, oh my gosh, so like information that's put out in the mass media, and we just talk about all this stuff, but it's it's what people want you to believe, and you get another facet of the archangels and the information that comes behind them, like Archangel Michael, etc., etc. The Enochian text is based off of the seal of, oh geez Louise, how did I forget this? It's the seal that was given to what's his face, how can I draw a blank on this? Like, how does that even work? Jeez Louise. I'm trying to see if I can pick up his name anywhere, but it was the Seal of Solomon. So it was, the Seal of Solomon was given to Solomon so that he can have power and possess demons and all this other stuff. Well, the Enochian magic talks about the magic of the seals and opening of the heavens, using elemental magic, using sex magic, and the archangels, because the seal also has them in it. So it's good to know about that stuff. It gives you a different perspective about the angels and what an angel actually is, which is just an energy. It's a frequency that you're tapping into. Then I'm gonna give you reference books in regards to how to connect, not only how to connect, but like what type of spirits there are out there. A lot of these ascended masters sometimes aren't even mentioned in some places. Sometimes I feel like they just make them up, but there are people like during Virtue, I don't want to continue to say her name, but she's like the only one that pops up in my head right now, that just want to give people the fluff and they don't want to explore other places. They say, oh, well, I make a deck about fairies, I'll make a deck about mermaids, but behind the mermaids there's the sirens, and the sirens are considered like demonic entities, you know what I'm saying? And there's like in the fairyland there's trolls, and really talk about those things. So I came from a Catholic background, so I learned about the saints. I've researched about the saints. I'm not really too fond about the saints because to me it's more of like a facade, and the entities didn't really exist. So but it's good to know about them. Okay, so this is the Book of the Saints, Inspiration Stories with Little Known Facts. Here. Then you have the Encyclopedia of Spirits, and this is the ultimate guide to magic of fairies, genies, demons, ghosts, gods, and goddesses by Judica Ills. This woman and the books that she has and the books that she put together are absolutely amazing. I feel like people like this that produce books and they mass produce things are amazing, because I feel like she's not after people's money. She's generally giving you information. Yes, she gives, she gets money off of it, but she gets, people to have the correct information. And how do you know it's correct? Because the entities in here, you can research them yourself. And if you decide to call on them, you can get in contact with them. Ooh, my nail almost broke. Anyway, so this is a good book to learn about spirits and entities, and it's not just the fluff. It'll give you the positive and the negative about each entity or spirit and what they're used for. Then we have the Dictionary of Demons by Michelle Ballinger, The Names of the Damned. And this is a book. And then this talks about like the fallen angels and their names and what they're good for, what they're not good for. And again, you have the Seal of Solomon, talking about the Seal of Solomon. And you have Archangel Michael in here. Okay. I think people got it all confused and not put together. So it's good that people know about these demons or demonic entities. Here you have the Tree of Life, which has a lot to do with angels and also demonic entities. If you open one door, you can open doors to a facade of things or a facet of things, and that's important to keep in mind. I'm sure you know all of this, but I just want to give you something to read and something to look forward to, or like a read to look forward to, and not so feel so down about yourself because you don't have the information, or you feel like you're doing something wrong, or you feel like people are tricking you. But if you're going to be in the spiritual world, you're going to be a medium, you have to be a medium of it all. You have to know the basis, the foundations, which to me is astrology, even though I'm not an astrologer. And then you have, you know, the deities or the entities that come through portals every time the astrological wheel changes itself or moves. And it's constantly moving. And within that, you learn about yourself. Then there's other perspectives about us and the human race and where we came from that a lot of guru teachers out there don't like to talk about. You have Zechariah Sitchin. You have this book like the Wars of God and Men, the book 3 of the Earth Chronicles. And this is a different perspective as to where humans came from, what the purpose of a human is, ancient worlds. It talks about the Anunnaki, talks about ancient gods and goddesses. So it's a different perspective and it's a good read. He has very good content, which I agree with for the most part. Then you have books like, I'm going to just skip through and then leave those for last. You have books like The Complete Idiot Guides of Alchemy. This book is very good because it teaches you about magic. It teaches you about manifestation, how to manifest for yourself. And it explains to you how and why. So if you find any Complete Idiots Guys books for anything that has to do with magic or religion, they're wonderful because it literally breaks it down in a way that you can understand. Then you have the Tarot for Dummies or any tarot, any blank for dummy books. Like this one is great. This is I don't know if you are very much into the tarot like I am, but I'm tarot everything, and this book was amazing. Then you have books like The Kabbalion, this one right here. And then you have books like The Emerald Tablets of Thoth the Atlantean. And Thoth was an Egyptian god, a primordial Egyptian god, who was said to be the creator of all the other gods. He's like the father, the grand don. And it talks to you about universal law. It talks to you about both of these books. It talks to you about passages in the tablets, passages that have to do with creation. This is, some people might consider to be, oh, it's just Egyptian mythology. No, it has everything. Like you would think, you will find things in here like the commandments and realize where the Bible originated from, which is just other people's material or primordial material. And this one was revised, but it's good if you get your hands on it. And this one was a study of Hermetic philosophy of ancient Egypt and Greece. But if you're going to be a magician, if you're going to be, not a magician, sorry, a medium or a psychic, it's good to know, they call it philosophy, but it's good to know where these entities reside. It's good to know how to initiate them, what vibration is, what does correspondence actually mean, what does spirit actually mean. And these books, even though they're very thin, they have a lot of information, and I will recommend them to anybody for them to initiate themselves in the study of vibrations and psychic mediumship. Not because it teaches you exactly how to be a psychic or a medium, but if you cannot manifest for yourself, or if you cannot do something for yourself, you shouldn't be doing things for other people. You should not. Even if one of your spells doesn't work, if your other spells are working, or if you're manifesting, not just prosperity in your life, but love, and an abundance of amongst other things, then you can do for yourself. And these books explain to you why you can manifest for yourself, how you can manifest for yourself, and how much closer you can be to God. However, these books literally tell you that, behind the scenes, they tell you basically that you are God. You are made in His image. You're God, and you can do the same. And this is why. Now, moving on to that, I have the Christ Blueprint, and it's the 13 Keys to the Christ Consciousness. And this explains to you the human body. It explains to you the evolution. It explains to you polarity. It explains to you how to have faith wisdom, kundalini energy, and this is the Christ Blueprint. And this is an amazing book because it gives you a different perspective of Christ. It gives you a different face to Christ. And it also has sigils and information that you can use in your magic, because people see the Christ as the Christian God. It's the guy with the blue eyes, with the long hair, the Caucasian guy, as opposed to seeing Christ as a frequency within everyone that anybody can access if you practice Christ consciousness. It also talks about sexual magic and sex magic and how that ties into being connected to the best you or the Christ. Then I have books that actually teach you how to access your Akashic records. This is one, How to Read the Akashic Records, Accessing the Archive of the Soul and Its Journey. It's an amazing and wonderful book, because this book, both of these books, The Becoming Clairvoyant, Develop Your Psychic Abilities to See into the Future. Both of these books give you exercises that you can do that actually work, and you don't have to pay thousands upon thousands of dollars to actually access something that's already in your body, which is why I love all of these authors, because they give you the real deal. And how do you know it's the real deal? Well, you can put it into practice. Now, just note that once you put these things into practice and you open certain doors, make sure that you read on or you have enough self-power to say no to whatever comes through those doors, and to understand that there is pros and cons, good and evil, to this world, and how to access from this world outside of this world, meaning in the universe, it doesn't exist. Everything is one. Everything fluctuates as one. So that's my little advice to you, and I am now going to do your readings. I hope you liked it and that it wasn't too long, but I feel like people need to know about these books and self-educate themselves, and just tap into their own power, and not have to pay thousands upon thousands and hundreds of dollars for somebody else to tell them, when that person can just write a book, you know, and talk about it, and then have people practice it, or I don't know, take people and information by donations. I don't know, do something different from the heart. So yeah, I will see you in your readings. Bye.